Welcome back to the Deep Dive. Today, we're jumping right into really the core of an impossible choice.
It really is.
We're talking about the moment humanity, basically down to its last real sanctuary, has to face a threat that is almost too big to even describe.
And we're going to be looking at the source material around Rapture Station, and specifically the President, Baldur Rane.
Right. And the crucial hours he had to navigate.
I mean, you can't overstate the stakes here. This is the final stand. For a little context, you have to remember, humanity is down to just 38 worlds.
Shattered, yeah.
Very scattered. And almost all of their infrastructure, their hope, rests on this one place, Rapture Station.
And it's huge. We're talking the size of a small country, but it's also, what, 1.4 billion people?
1.4 billion people crammed inside. So it's overcrowded, and the leadership is, well, it's fragile. Baldur Rane has only just taken power.
It was a coup, right? He didn't just win an election.
Exactly, a political coup. So he barely has time to even, figure out where the coffee machine is before he's hit with this world-ending event.
That political instability is such a critical piece of the puzzle. He inherited a mess, and now he's staring down, well, oblivion. And we've been looking at the sources covering the minutes, literally the minutes leading up to and right after this confrontation with what they call a Titan-level emergence.
And we have to be clear, this isn't just a big monster. This is a thing that's large enough to crush continents, and it warps reality around it.
So our mission today for this deep dive is to really unpack the gamble he has to take. It's a technological gamble, but it's also deeply psychological.
It is. To save everyone, he has to try this full neurological merge with an ancient Alfar AI named VARA.
And the cost is potentially everything.
Yeah.
His own identity, his humanity, maybe even his soul.
It's all on the table.
Okay, let's start with the enemy. I think we need to understand the Draugr to get why the merge was even an option. They're called the Children of Oblivion, but it's not the whole story.
No, it's much more tragic. They're not just space monsters. The Draugr are, essentially, the tormented, corrupted souls of the dead from a human superworld called Midgarthus.
Which collapsed 1,000 years ago.
1,000 years ago. So their very existence is this constant screaming reminder of a massive human failure. Their creation was the result of just catastrophic political greed.
Exploitation, basically.
Pure exploitation. They broke an ancient Alfar patch job on a space-time wound, a place they call the Maw.
So the Alfar put a bandage on a cosmic wound, and humanity just ripped it off for profit.
That's a perfect way to put it. Greed ignores physics. The Alfar were trying to cap a spatial bleed, but human corporations just kept pushing, drilling closer to the boundary for resources.
So they leveraged a cosmic horror for quarterly profit.
And the system just buckled. It broke.
That is just, it's such a heavy part of this story. The idea that they created their own doom. The sources say the Draugr were born when human sin, fear, and rage got compressed by a singularity.
And it twisted them into a new law of physics.
What does that even mean? How does an emotion become a law of physics?
Well, think about gravity, right? It's a law. It always pulls things together. For the Draugr, the raw hate and fear from that collapse became their gravity. It's a parasitic law of physics that is just fundamentally drawn to corruption, to psychic pain.
They feed on it.
They are the ultimate expression of cosmic suffering.
And the scale they operate on is terrifying. They start as these wraith forms, then corporal demons, and then finally the thing that's heading for Rapture, a Titan.
A planet-sized god demon. And the sources describe the Maw opening, reality itself bending into a funnel to let this thing through. It's not just flying through space, it's tearing space open to get to them.
And the clock is ticking. Baldur Rane has, what was it, 31 minutes?
31 minutes until this thing tries to pull Rapture Station apart. And the quote is, "Atom by screaming atom."
No pressure. So that time constraint is everything. He's in the presidential spire. The first move is obviously defense. Why did that fail so badly?
Because you can't shoot a hurricane. The scale was just too immense. They hit it with everything they had, all their heavy ordnance.
Yeah.
And the Titan, as the source says, it just flinched and got bigger.
Oh, wow. So they're just making it angry.
They were annoying it and focusing its attention, so conventional weapons were out.
Which forces his hand. He has to turn to the Alfar seal technology, this system that's woven into the station itself.
Yeah, it's this incredibly complex network of lightweave nets, gravimetric inverters, and null fields. It's designed to manipulate fundamental forces, not just, shoot projectiles.
And to use it against the Titan, he has to go to the throne.
The throne. It's this skeletal-looking cradle in the station's core. He has to sit in it and undergo the merge with VR.
So VR is the Alfar AI mind that's stored in his wrist device, right?
Girl, yeah. The overseer mind.
Okay, here's the bit I really want to focus on. If VR is this ancient, super advanced AI, why does it need a human at all? Why does it need Baldur Rane to be an interface?
That is the absolute core of it. It's the tragedy and, I guess, the brilliance of the Alfar. They were masters of logic, of physics, but they were emotionally stunted.
So VAR can run 1 million battle simulations a second.
But it can't decide which one is worth fighting for. It doesn't understand compassion or sacrifice. Baldur's mind filters VAR's logic through human intuition. He gives it the emotional weight the machine can't carry.
He's the anchor. He makes sure the goal is saving people, not just winning a physics problem.
Precisely. The AI has the power, but Baldur has the heart, and that's the final necessary component.
But the price for that is terrifying.
Yeah.
I mean, what does merging an unaugmented human brain with a consciousness that vast actually do to you?
The sources are pretty chilling on this. His brain will be flooded with more information than any unaugmented brain was meant to sustain. The fear isn't just that he'll die.
Is that he'll be erased.
Erased. His sense of self will just blur, and he might fail to find the path back. The biggest fear, which his second-in-command Freya says out loud, is that he'll change into something else, something not you. Alfar ghost puppet.
Just a shell with an alien AI pulling the strings. So to stop that from happening, he has these very human, very personal anchors.
These anchors are everything. Just before he goes into the core, Freya gives him this desperate, quick kiss, and then she makes him a promise.
If I start to go wrong, I'll shoot you.
I'll shoot you. It's this messy, brutal final moment of human connection and loyalty.
But maybe the most powerful anchor comes from the kids. His niece and nephew, Artemis and Apollo. They have this psychic sensitivity.
They do. And as he's going down in the lift, his niece Artemis just asks him, don't let them be lonely.
She's talking about the Draugr.
She's talking about the enemy. About the lost souls in the dark. It's this moment of just staggering, pure empathy for the monster at the door. And that becomes his psychological tether, this one pure, compassionate thought he holds on to.
And as he gets to the cradle, Viola makes this cold observation. She says, "You are afraid."
And he's honest. He just says yes, and her response is perfect.
Good. The fearless break first.
Fear keeps you grounded. It keeps you from being reckless. And then the merge begins.
Filaments slide across his temples, the world shatters for him, and at that exact moment, the Titan arrives. It pulls itself out of the maw, this mountain of churning darkness and faces and souls all mid-scream.
And inside his own mind, Baldur is everywhere. He's not just a man in a chair anymore. He is the station. He's the shield, the towers, the light weave nets. He can feel every single person, every life, like a tiny, warm pulse in this vast machine.
And being that open, that exposed, means the Draugr network can touch his mind directly.
Yes.
Yeah.
And this is where the psychic attack begins. He sees Rapture Station from the Titan's point of view.
A quivering note of light in a web of potential meals.
The hunger is overwhelming. He feels it not as a threat, but as this deep, horrible pain. And because he sees their lost humanity, for one terrifying moment, he sympathizes. A whisper tells him he could fix it all, and all the suffering, through universal consumption.
Join us and the pain stops. That's the temptation, isn't it? Just total annihilation, but dressed up as mercy. This is where he could have become that ghost puppet.
This is the breaking point, but his anchors hold. VARA slams his awareness back using the voices of his family Freya, the twins. He realizes that human smallness, their fragility, is actually their strength. The Alfar built systems too big for their cold hearts.
But humans have that connection, that resilience.
And with his humanity locked back in, the entire strategy changes. They're not going to just block the attack.
No, he decides to use the seal as a lever. This is where he tells VARA the plan.
Which is just wonderfully, recklessly human. Slingshot an angry, planet-eating god into a sun.
I mean, it's brilliant. They basically rewrite orbital dynamics on the fly. They use the gravitic vectors to chain the Titan and use its own momentum to fling it into the star.
But doing that requires an impossible amount of psychic strain. And on the outside, Baldur's body, it just fails.
He dies. The sources are very specific. His heart and brain waves flatlined for 93 seconds.
He's gone. But right before the vectors fully lock on, he gets one last anchor. Freya is watching his vitals crash, and she just screams over the open channel.
If you die before I can yell at you properly, I will find your glowing soul and drag it back by the throat.
And that raw human defiance makes Baldur laugh, a final moment of sanity, and then the vectors take hold.
The Titan hits the star. Its form just boils away, and the resulting scream isn't sound, it's soul deep. The maw shrinks, it becomes calmer, the immediate crisis is over. But the president is dead.
Technically, yes.
So let's talk about the resurrection. How does VARA bring him back after he's been extinguished for over a minute and a half?
Well, it's not magic, it's alien engineering. VARA resists the decay of his neural pattern. She calculates what's called a forced reintegration raster. She basically rebuilds his consciousness from the pattern he left behind.
But she has to reinforce it.
She has to. She infuses his pattern with an Alfar stabilizing matrix. It's a technological scaffold to hold his identity together, to keep him from shattering again under that kind of pressure.
So he comes back, but he's different. He's changed. What does this Alfar scaffolding look like?
He's still him. He's still Baldur Rane. But now his body has these faint lines of light under the skin, pulsing with his heartbeat. And when he looks in a mirror, his eyes are still brown, but as the source says, behind the iris, faintly, stars flickered.
Wow. He's literally got the cosmos inside him now. What does that do for his ability to lead? I mean, how do you govern people who know you died and were brought back by an alien machine?
It's a huge problem of trust. VARA warns him about it immediately. She tells him the Draugr will remember the taste of him. They'll fear him now because he's touched their world and come back.
And she tells him he can't let that line between man and machine blur for his own people.
Or they'll stop trusting him, and his leadership will collapse.
And yet his first act back is to give this incredibly grounding speech from a cracked balcony looking out over all the damage.
He doesn't lie. He doesn't give them platitudes. He says, I'm not asking you to pretend everything is normal. It isn't. He's just brutally honest about the cost.
And he gives them a new mandate. Rebuild, but not just as a sanctuary. Now, Rapture will be a seal, a lighthouse, and a weapon.
The immediate threat is gone. The maw is sleeping, but he's no longer just a smuggler or a coup leader. He's this unwilling Lightbearer.
A hero who has totally changed the state of play.
Right. He survived by using his humanity as a weapon against this cosmic horror. The war isn't over, not by a long shot, but for the first time. It's not completely one-sided.
So we started this deep dive with this impossible conflict, and we've ended with this profound, almost terrifying transformation. A man embraces alien tech to save his people, and in doing so becomes this new kind of being, something the enemy fears, and something his own people have to learn to trust.
And this is where it gets really fascinating, looking forward. His first thoughts aren't just about defense. He starts thinking bigger. How do we stop making these cosmic wounds in the first place? And he even wonders if they can help those things someday.
Help the Draugr.
He's already thinking about redemption, not just war.
But the maw only sleeps uneasy. And the sources leave us with this final thought, that far from Rapture, something ancient noticed that flash of light, the little flicker on the edge of its wound when the Titan hit the star.
So the question to leave you with is, what cosmic force just woke up, and what's next for the man with stars in his eyes?
You'll see next time on The Deep Dive.